your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along. Well, we blew.
Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat, of course, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Monday, August 12th. Jim Coyle with you, as always. Jake's at the wheel, keeping things on the track. Hope you had a great weekend. Pretty nice weather-wise. Didn't do a lot, tried to relax, but there was a lot going on to get to on today's program. A little bit of news happened on Friday. Oh, yeah. That Anthony Leal thing, almost forgot, just kidding. Big news for Indiana basketball, of course, as Anthony Leal, the Bloomington South product, and Indiana Mr. Basketball, probably leading candidate, commits to the Indiana Hoosiers on Friday. Guess what? You're going to hear it on the show today in the next hour. We spoke with Anthony after making that commitment, and it was a great conversation. Looking forward to playing that for you guys here on the show. Also, Jordan Hulls, another former Bloomington South product. He's got to head back to Italy, but before he does that, he's on Indiana Sports Beat to tell you how things have been going for him this summer and what he's looking forward to. So, two great conversations. Looking forward to those today. Anthony Leal and Jordan Hulls on the program today. But that was huge news for Archie Miller and the Indiana basketball program, as it wasn't a major shock. The crystal ball, everyone's crystal ball, whatever the crap that means, was pointing towards Indiana, and most of us thought that that's exactly where he was going to go. It was too difficult to turn down coming here, as opposed to going out west to California. I mean, when you come thinking about the family would basically not get to see him play in college, whereas when he goes to IU, they can see every game. In addition to the fact that, growing up in Bloomington, he grew up an IU fan. So there was little doubt that that's where he was going to go, but there was some doubt. But that was all put to end as Anthony Leal committed to Archie Miller and the Indiana Hoosiers on Friday, making a lot of people happy. And I'm looking forward to the conversation with him today, also with Jordan as well. There's also another commitment Indiana's waiting on, but on the different sport. Deontay Craig, the three-star football player from Culver Academy, actually a basketball teammate of Trey Galloway, down to Iowa and Indiana. We're still waiting to see what he's going to do. Looking forward. That would be a gigantic get for Tom Allen and Indiana. He's a three-star. He's a really high three-star, but he's somebody that I think can make a huge difference. So that's going to be a big commitment if they can get it. Other things going on the football field. Nate Sudfeld unfortunately broke his wrist last week in a preseason game for the Philadelphia Eagles. The former IU quarterback has been on the Philadelphia Eagles for a couple of years now. He was moved up. He's the backup to Carson Wentz, so he's up there, but luckily it was his left wrist, not his right wrist, and he had surgery on that, and he spoke to the media. Let's hear what Mr. Sudfeld had to say.
Pretty much knew pretty quickly, but yeah, fortunate that I was able to get surgery, early the next morning, and feel good that it's back in place, and I'm on the road to recovery. So
some of the estimates that are out there are, it suggests it's not going to be long term. What is it about the break, I guess, that was fortunate, in that respect?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not really sure. But I'm really excited that it's not a long-term injury. Very, very fortunate it's not, thank God it's not my right hand, because you never know what complications would come with using it and throwing every play. If I could pick an injury, it'd probably be my left wrist or something like that. So I'm really thankful for that and trying to see the silver lining. But it's disappointing, but yeah, it was really fun to get to play, and felt like there were some good things that we did out there, and it was a lot of fun to play. But I'm just trying to get back as soon as I can and help the team out.
Is it tough not?
That was, of course, Nate Sudfeld, former Hoosier quarterback, now with the Philadelphia Eagles, talking about the surgery, the silver lining, looking for silver lining. Coach Doug Peterson, the Eagles coach, basically said the backup spot will be waiting on him when he gets back, that he's earned that, and he's more than proven that he's capable of being that guy. Great night he had in that game. I think he was 10 of 18 or 10, something like that, for 177 yards. Had a 75-yard touchdown throw, so a good start. He's going to miss a couple of regular season games, but won't be too bad, and he'll be back for the regular season. Like I said, he'll miss a couple of regular season games, but he'll be back quickly into the regular season. He wasn't the only Hoosier playing professionally over the weekend. Former Hoosier soccer player Andrew Grootman making his first start for FC Cincinnati as he continues to just climb up the professional ladder. Man, you think after losing all the talent Indiana lost that they would be hurting, but they're ranked number 2. They have just reloaded is all they've done. But our Mr. Gutman, let's hear what he had to say after making his first start for FC Cincinnati.
What was it like making your first start?
A lot. I mean, first game was a derby, a lot of energy, but my teammates held me through it, and, we got a tough point on the road.
A lot of positive plays by you out there for the first and second half. How do you continue to build off that?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to confidence. My teammates kind of give me the green light to do what I do, and, the coach was really adamant about pushing forward with me, so I just kind of did what I always did, play with confidence and create some good chances today.
A lot of changes for you guys. What has this week been like at training?
It's been crazy, but I think it's been good. Fresh energy. Me and 2 other players come in, new manager. So it's all positive stuff. It's moving in the right direction.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Andrew Gutman there talking about his great run as he has moved up the professional ladder as well, starting for FC Cincinnati. Like I said, and look forward to hearing more from him and many other players throughout the years. We've heard from a lot of the baseball players this summer that are having great summers. Kyle Schwarber, Alex Dickerson, Sam Travis. They're just doing very, very well. So congratulations to all those guys. The Indiana women's volleyball program opened up practice over the weekend. They started Saturday at Wilkinson Hall. Their season will start soon. We'll be there to cover all that as well. Indiana women's soccer opened up with a 3-0 exhibition win over Indiana State. Mel Forbes, Chandra Davidson, Ali Schlam all scored for the Hoosiers. This Wednesday, I'll be live from Bill Armstrong Stadium as the women are at it again, as they'll be taking on Northwestern at Armstrong Stadium in an early match, kind of like the old businessman special in baseball in the old days. But of course, we'll be live right before their match starts at noon. So luckily, we'll be on live right before that. So looking forward to that. Also in the pool, future Olympic hopeful Annie Lazor wins Pan Am gold, man. She could be an Olympic swimmer right along with Lily King. Lazor crushed the new Pan Am's game record in the final of the women's 200 breaststroke on day 3 in Lima. She put up a time of 2:21.40 to chop almost 3 seconds off the previous mark held by Kiera Smith. That was the 5th best time in the world this year, just behind somebody named Lily King. Yeah, I've heard of her. So a lot of Hoosiers making a lot of noise in the pool this year, as we're accustomed to that back in the old days, and that's seems to be getting back that way. Could see quite a few Hoosiers at the next Olympics, I believe, in Tokyo coming up. So look forward to that. Of course, IU football rolls on over the weekend. I think they probably had one more practice, but we were not. That was not open to the media, so we weren't there for that. We'll be back tomorrow, or today rather, and tomorrow for that matter, because normally it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday that we get to go, but they've changed the schedule this week. They're off on Wednesday for some reason, so we'll be there Monday and Tuesday. Looking forward to that. Then Wednesday, live from Bill Armstrong Stadium for women's soccer, so looking forward to that. But Sean Riggins, I posted a quote from Taiwan Mullen, earlier, back in June, he had told, we got to meet with him along with some of the other freshmen, and one of the things he said, it just resonated with a lot of people because it sure got a lot of hits. But he basically said, I didn't come from 16 hours away to not do something. I knew what I wanted. I know where I want to be and all that stuff. He has a focused mindset. And according to his coach, Shelby, the DB coach, he's doing exactly that. We also got to talk to Sean Riggins. Let's hear what Sean had to say.
They're really good, and that's even more motivation to just make sure I'm on top of everything mentally and physically. We have some good athletes in my position room, and it's really good competition.
He's talking about those younger players that are always nipping at their heels, but man, they have a fantastic secondary. Hopefully they can get the job done this year because they're going to need it. There's Michigan, you may not be aware of this, but Michigan, we learned this during Big Ten Media Days up in Chicago. They've changed their offense. They're going to a wide-open spread offense. They'll be using it's probably very similar to what you're used to seeing from Indiana. Same situation. So their secondary is probably going to get used quite a bit this year, but they're pretty strong in that. We'll hear more from Sean later on in this hour in the third segment. But we'll hear the full interview with him. But good to hear from him. But looking forward to getting back out to practice today and continue with that quarterback competition because, man, I got to tell you right now, I've graded that thing as I've went along. I'll talk about this more in the third segment as well. But I've been grading the quarterback competitions of the days that we get to see. And right now, on the 10-point must system, Peyton Ramsey holds a 1-point lead. I'll go into that in more detail and all that. But it wasn't, but he did win the last day that I saw, which I think was Friday, but not because he had the best day. But between him and Penix, you couldn't really tell a difference. It was a tie. And in that case, he's the champion, current champion, so the tie goes to him. But right now, on that 10-point must system, he leads it by 1 point. And that's not the only things that these coaches are grading these guys on. And there are practices that we don't get to see. So I don't know who practices well on those days. I don't know who has the best days on those days. And there are other intangibles that the coaches are looking at that we're not privy to, that they're all the different things that they're statting and tracking and following and all that. So there's a lot that's going to go into it before they make the decision. And we'll talk a lot more about football in the third segment of this hour. After next, we've got a reboot of Todd Leary from last week coming up. So stay tuned. We got a lot more coming up from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on Indiana Sports Beat. Anthony Leal, Indiana's newest commitment, right here, no place else but Indiana Sports Beat, where you get full coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers. Jordan Hall's on the program today, too. So stay tuned. We're back with more after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat, of course, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Friday TGIF. And now we welcome the Todd father himself, Todd Leary. Todd, how are you, brother?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I cannot complain. It doesn't do any good. Nobody wants to listen to it.
Yeah, I understand that.
I need somebody to do some music there for me. Try to make it seem funny at least. Man, I know you've been working long and hard. It's been a long summer. How's it been going?
It's great. Everything has been terrific. Got the move all completed. I think I told you that last week. And enjoying Evansville and just trying to get settled in a little bit.
Yeah, it takes a while. At least the weather's been cooperative, man. It's not. There's been no humidity. At least around here, it hasn't been humid, which is crazy for this time of year.
Yeah, for the move, we couldn't have asked for better weather. So it's everything's been great, and I love the heat, so I don't mind it being hot.
Yeah, I take the heat over the cold anytime, man, all the time. But football season's almost upon us. Fall camp's going on up at IU. When you were in school, how much involvement did you have with going to football games and things like that, or were you guys too busy?
Coach Knight always he always kind of made a point of having practice at the time when just as soon as we got done, it was about game time. So we would make the games occasionally, but I think he intentionally kind of planned practices so that we couldn't pre-game a whole lot out there. So we got escorted into most of the games or whenever you wanted to go, but we generally had practice at a time when a lot of other people were having fun.
Well, that's never fun, but I guess you got to do what you got to do. But are you a football fan yourself in general, or is that something you don't follow?
I am a football fan. I love watching it on TV, and my middle son was a big football player at Carmel High School, so we have enjoyed that over the years. But yeah, we are our households are big football fans.
Looking forward to it, man. I'm ready for it. The Colts played last night they shuffled off to Buffalo. I don't remember how that game ended up. But, the preseason is among us. Andrew Luck, of course, he's dealing with the calf injury or some stuff, so he's not playing. So no big deal anyway. But other than that,
if he wasn't dealing with an injury, he wouldn't be playing anyway. So
I was going to say, it's a preseason game. I'm like, you better not blink. He may walk across the field or something, but that's the only glimpse you're going to have of him.
Yep, no doubt.
It's crazy. And then, of course, on the basketball side, big news coming up for Indiana today. Anthony Leal, the Bloomington South product, is making his decision. It's down to Stanford and Indiana. And to me, I'm pretty confident he'll be choosing Indiana. But he's not, and you'll love this, Todd. He's not doing any of this fancy press conference and have the hats out there and all that stuff. He's just going to send a message out.
Yep, I'm a big fan of that. But, this is, luckily for me, this is a decision I never had to make because Stanford would have never accepted me. So I didn't have to rule them out very quickly. But, yeah, just being the hometown, you would assume that Indiana has the advantage in that situation. But you never know. I mean, a kid that has the ability and drive to want to have that kind of academic background and have that in his future. I mean, you just never know if that's something that's very important to him, and that they obviously offer something that very few schools can do.
Yeah, well, I mean, Stanford is one of the great universities in our country. I think they have more NCAA championships than any other school in the NCAA, like 122. It's crazy. And obviously the academics.
That's probably just because of Tiger.
There are a bunch. Yeah, most of them are in sports like golf and water polo or whatever, but who knows? But academics, obviously. But Indiana is a pretty damn good school, and the Kelley School of Business, I think it does okay. So I don't think there's going to be much of a drop off in academics, and it's a lot easier than for the Leals to drive into Bloomington Assembly Hall rather than going across the country to California. So I'm pretty confident he's probably going to choose Indiana, and I think it's going to be a good get for him.
It definitely would be a good get. And like you said, I hope that you're right. I hope that plays a big factor in it. And if it does, then Indiana would be the obvious choice for him. But we'll all know here in a little bit, and it's exciting that Indiana's down to that point. That's a kid that you want to get a lot of Indiana kids, but I mean this one is as close as you can get to the campus. So this would be a great one for Indiana to keep at home.
Yeah, and over the years, though, there has not been that many kids that have scholarship players that have come from Bloomington and played for IU. There's been, obviously, Jordan Hulls, and if Anthony Leal comes, and Jared Jeffries went to North, and your former teammate Pat Knight went to North. But I can't think of a lot of other guys from the Bloomington schools that actually played for IU.
Yeah, I know Chris Lawson was a recruit from Bloomington South also, and he played a couple of years with us. And it's difficult to have that kind of pressure and be recruiting wise when coaches are flying all over creation to watch guys play and evaluate them and stuff like that. I mean, when you're from Bloomington and from that area, you either start getting recruited pretty early or you probably are looking in another direction. So, it's difficult. I mean, those schools are tough. I know the coaching staff at both of those schools in Bloomington, but especially Bloomington South over the years has just been tremendous. And, they do a great job. And those guys, when they come in, Jordan Hulls is a perfect example. When those guys come out of Bloomington South, I mean, they're high IQ guys. So, you got to give the high school coaching staff a lot of credit for that.
Earlier, you joked about Stanford didn't recruit you. When you were coming out of high school, what offers? Who did you other schools did you have offers from? Do you remember them?
I had an offer from Minnesota. Big Ten wise, I had Minnesota, and then it was down to me and Matt Painter for Purdue. And then luckily, I had the IU offer that came in when Jay Edwards went to the NBA. So that's really Indiana didn't recruit me at all until it got to that point. They already had 6 recruits going there. So that wasn't a big thing. I really wanted to play in the Big Ten. That was important to me. So those are the schools that I really, there was a lot of smaller schools that had offered me, but the Big Ten schools were the ones that I really would have stuck towards, and I would have gone to either Minnesota or Purdue had I not had the opportunity to go to Indiana.
Now, when you made your decision, did you do it in a gym full of people with a table and 4 or 5 hats out in front of you and like do the magic ball trick or something?
I did it in a living room full of people. I mean, it was in my living room with Coach Knight on the phone. He called and offered it to me, and that was the extent of my recruiting at Indiana. I mean, that was I was always my dream to go there. So,
so did you accept on the offer?
On the phone, yeah, for sure.
Oh, so you accepted when he made the offer?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. There was no question. I mean, once that offer came out, I wasn't letting him back out of that one. I'd have driven down there and signed that night if it had been illegal.
And I know that was kind of common back in the day. I mean, when the guys would make an offer, like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm good. Michael Lewis told me a great story about his recruitment. He said he grew up a Purdue fan. He's from Jasper, but he didn't really, care either way about going to Indiana when he was younger. And he was being recruited by Indiana, and they're up at his office at Assembly Hall, and walks in. His parents are in there, and he's, well, Michael, how you like it at Indiana? Oh, it's nice, and this, that. Well, would you like to play basketball here in Indiana? He goes, yeah, that'd be good. All right. He slaps him on the back, walks out. I'll have my people give you a call. Out the door he goes. That was it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm laughing, but that's really not all that surprising. Like, I kind of get it. And I probably assumed Coach Knight just assumed that he was an IU guy or an IU fan his whole life anyway. I mean, that's the way a lot of us were. If you're going to that meeting and that interview, I think he probably assumes you're an IU fan. And, obviously Michael Lewis couldn't be a better example of the Indiana kind of player that Coach Knight wanted to have. So, I mean, that's one. Had he needed to recruit him harder, I'm sure he probably would have. But once he committed, I know Coach Knight was super excited to have him.
And the two recruits, or the one commitment they have right now, Trey Galloway, Anthony Leal, I expect him to become one. But both of them doing the same thing. They're just doing the announcement via Instagram, sending out a message. Hey, thank everybody. I'm going to go to Indiana. Does that kind of relay the kind of kids that Indiana needs to be getting, instead of doing having a circus act going on for your announcement?
It certainly appears so. I mean, it's that whole fiasco of stuff that happens. It seems like everybody's trying to be a little bit more creative here and there. I mean, you get enough attention as it is, and for 17, 18-year-old kid, they're already getting told how awesome they are all the time. To try to have another event where, they're the center of attention and everybody is just, Googling over them. It's kind of goofy, and I hate when they do that stuff. And, they're always kind of quirky and weird when they do them. They're never really the big anticipated thing. I mean, obviously Romeo's was great. I mean, I remember watching it online when Romeo had it, but I would have much preferred he just tweeted it out and somebody forwarded that to me. So I'm just not. You obviously know I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff, and but it's not going to stop. I mean, it's just going to get more and more elaborate as the years go on, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would have much rather they tweeted it out to you too, and I would not have had to sit in that gym for 3 hours.
Yeah, that was a long one, but I mean, they had the result that Indiana fans wanted. So if that's what it takes, we'll take another one.
That's what it takes. Indiana, of course, 2 more open scholarships after this, and next year's class is just loaded. But Indiana only has 3 scholarships available next year if they fill this class up with 4. But I think something's going to happen because they're going to need more than that. There's so many guys in that class next year. It's not nearly as big as the class you came in with, but the talent level is pretty outstanding. Christian Lander from Evansville Wrights High School down there, the top recruit in the country, one of those guys. But there's a lot. There's Trey Kaufman from Silver Creek up in southern Indiana, and just all kinds of guys in that 2021 class. But what is it like when you came in with a big class? I mean, most classes are 2 or 3 and sometimes 4, but when you came in, there were 7 of you guys, and you were all damn good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different. I mean, when you've got 2 or 3 guys coming in, I mean, obviously, generally, you probably have a guard and a forward and a big guy or something along that capacity. And, you all probably have an opportunity to play. Well, with 7 of us, there's obviously all of us are not going to start for sure. But there's just not that much playing time for unless you're Kentucky or the Fab Five. There's just not very many teams that play that many freshmen like that, and so it changes things up a little bit. I mean, it changes your perspective, but you kind of know that when you commit. I mean, not only were we pretty guard heavy coming in my year, but Lyndon Jones and Jamal Meeks and those guys were already there, and those guys were good players that were playing a lot already. So. There's a lot to it, but you also feel like there's a lot that you can do. Like, you feel like you're fitting in, and Coach Knight does a good job of explaining and, what your role can be and how you can fit in. And so you feel pretty confident that there's a place for you. But it changes it a little bit. When there's 2 guys coming in and, both of those guys probably feel like there's plenty of playing time for them and available for them to get. And when there's 4 or 5 guys, it probably diminishes that just a little bit. So, it'll be interesting to see how they handle the last couple scholarships and what they do with them, or if they hang on to them, or what they end up doing.
I've had several former players on here lately: Nick Zeisloff, Jordan Halls. Jordan will be on with me again Monday. Mo Creek. All those guys are getting to play over in Europe. What were the opportunities like when you were coming out? I mean, it was not nearly as big as it is then. And then we also have things like the TBT that just came to a close the other night.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit different back when I played. There was only 2 that foreign people to whatever country you were in on each team. So really, there was only 2 Americans on every team, and that probably made it a little less opportunity. But having played for Coach Knight, if you wanted to play overseas, you had that opportunity, and he didn't even have to pull any strings. Coaches wanted you to come there as much as anything because they wanted to learn from you. I mean, they obviously thought you were a good player, but they wanted to learn from Coach Knight and from what we had learned from him. So I know I played a year over in France and a year in Cyprus, and I also got to go play in Dubai and just some different opportunities to go play on some different teams. And that was also a lockout year for the NBA, one of my years, so I got to go to the NBA Summer League and that stuff. So there was plenty of opportunity, and coming from Indiana, you can play pretty much about as long as you want to. I think a lot of guys at that point are kind of tired and ready to move on with their lives, and some guys want to hang on and do it for another 10 or 15 years. I recommend to guys play as absolute long as you can, and I stopped playing at a time when I could have continued on, and I kind of wish I had not done that, but you live and learn, and it was a choice I made at that time, and I was ready to start and have a family, and I got 3 boys to show for it, so I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Most of the guys that do that are single or not married, not family. Jordan Hulls is a different one. He is married with children, and that's part of the thing that makes it difficult. And I didn't really think about it that much until I started talking to all these guys. But, they spend half their year out of the country, in a foreign country, and removed from all the things that we take for granted every day. That cannot be easy.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's a lot easier now than it was when I played. I mean, we didn't have the internet when I played, so my only connection to the United States was USA Today that was 3 days old that we would get over there, and there was no ESPN where we could watch the games every night and stuff like that. So it was a lot different then. I'm sure it's much easier now than it used to be, but you say you're gone half the year. It's more than half the year as well. I mean, I left in July and got back in May, so it's a long season over there as well. It's a lot like the college basketball season, only it lasts a little bit longer, and it's professional, so there's a lot more training and that kind of stuff involved in it. So it's not all fun and games, but believe me, it's better than an average 9-to-5 job. And I have told those guys, and I would tell as many of them as I could, that as long as you enjoy it, play as long as you can, because it's an opportunity that, most people don't have, and you should take advantage of it as much as you can.
Yeah, I was talking to Jordan Hulls. They provide him with a car, insurance. He said, I'm like, man, you got it made.
Yeah, they when I got there, I had a car and an apartment, and they had. I actually had an agent who provided me with. There was a McDonald's in my town, and I had a McDonald's VIP card, which meant I could go to McDonald's and order anything I wanted, as much as I wanted all year long. And so it did not take me very long to gain about 30 pounds after I got there. And to this day, I still blame him for that, because I haven't lost that 30 pounds.
I was going to say, man, I'm sure that was great for the diet.
Yeah, it sucked. It was awful, but it sure tasted good.
Good deal. Well, man, I appreciate you. It's always great talking to you, brother. I don't want to take up your entire Friday. I've got to let you get out to the weekend, start the weekend. Hopefully you can start the weekend early.
Yeah, I got a long weekend of work, so I appreciate you giving me the time to take a vent here just a little bit, but now it's back to the grindstone. I got a long weekend of work.
Our favorite, the Todd father, Todd Leary, man, we are always grateful to have you with us.
I appreciate it, buddy. I'll talk to you next week.
You bet. Todd Leary. We'll be back with more right after this.
How can you ask her to try and get by with just one little kiss? One little kiss. Kissing you do. I need a second helping too.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for a post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just about 689 South End Avenue in Sellersburg. 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry. 812-246-3368.
Now that winter has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make it tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moyer.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Hi, this is A.J. Moyer, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Of course, we're coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Monday, August 12th. A little bit of basketball news for you that's not Anthony Leal, but another visit coming to Indiana as 2020 6'6" wing Jalen Geronimo has announced that he'll take an official visit to Indiana on August 30th. He'll also visit Tom Crean and the University of Georgia and Boston College in September, a wing that was relatively unknown before the season started. But he had a great breakout summer, led to a wave of interest and offers for him, along with dozens of others. IU offered Geronimo a scholarship in July. Playing for one of the top teams, mass rivals on the Adidas circuit, you can see Geronimo's rise over the course of the spring and summer if you look at his numbers. After playing fairly limited minutes early on, Geronimo's stat line exploded, especially during the final weeks of the Adidas Summer Championship in Ladera Ranch, California. Overall, Geronimo averaged just under 10 points a game. That number ballooned to 17.5 per contest over his last 2 games. He shot the ball pretty well in AAU play, making 53.6% of his attempts overall, including 35% from behind the three-point line. Geronimo has added 4.1 rebounds per game on the Adidas circuit as well. My only question is this a position of need for Indiana? I'm not sure that they really need another wing. They sure seem to be stocked up with that. What they do need is a point guard. They have not been able to land one of these last 2 classes, and it's something it's going to catch up with Indiana. We saw the need for that last year when Rob Finney went down with an injury. So I would think that the critical thing to get right now is a point guard for that class. Of course, in the 2021 class, you've got they hope to land Christian Lander, who would be a great guy with the ball in his hands, but there's no guarantees on that, and they still need a backup for him anyway. But we'll see how that turns out, but it's another visit for the Hoosiers coming along. We'll be headed back out to football practice today. Looking forward to that as we weren't out there over the weekend. But we'll be there today and tomorrow, and I guess back on Friday. They're not practicing on Wednesday, but looking forward to keeping up with this football competition. My thought is this week is really going to be a huge difference for it. There's somebody needs to make a separation this week. They need to get towards finding out who that guy is going to be for the better of the team. But we'll talk about that more later. But right now, defensively, the secondary is looked at as one of the strongest units on the team, much less on the defense. Obviously, their strongest unit on defense. One of the veteran players is Sean Riggins. Met with us the other day. We had a chance to talk with him. He talked about a lot of things. Started off with about his baby. He's a father. So the bulk of the conversation had to do with that. But we started talking about the defensive part after that as well. Let's hear what Sean had to say.
It's definitely like a new experience for me. Like I said, it's my first child, but my girlfriend, her mother, does a very good job of helping me out, making sure she's not keeping me up late for practice and everything like that. But I also do my job. Between practices, I go home and give her mother a break and hold her, feed her, whatever I got to do just to give her mother some time off.
I was going to say, you getting enough sleep? You getting much sleep right now?
Yeah. We have a good schedule. I mean, she has her night and day mixed up right now, but she's getting better each and every week.
It's the cliche question, but like, what's been the best part so far, and what's been maybe the toughest part?
I think the best part is just seeing her smile, man. That's like the most beautiful thing to see. And she looked just like me, so of course she got a cute smile. But that's the best thing. I feel like the hardest thing is just knowing what she's crying for. They can't talk, so sometimes you just don't know what they're crying for. It could be food, it could be diaper change, anything like that. But as time goes on, I'm starting to get it better.
I guess you talked about it a little bit, but what's it like, and what do you feel like it's going to be like for you as you have to balance that more once school starts and all that? I know you're a senior, so I imagine your course load may not be quite as rigorous as some guys. But
yeah, and that's the good thing about it. My last year, I don't have that many credits to finish my senior year. So I think that academic-wise, I don't think it'll be a problem or interference. I know I'll probably have to move around some scheduling with football in the afternoon to pick her up from daycare and stuff like that. But with her mom being a good help. I think we should balance out everything pretty well.
Obviously, we see Donovan's kid here. Do you have any advice from him on how to balance that?
The most part that he had told me was just make sure I give her mother some time, like a break, and take the baby, give her some time to sleep and everything, especially during camp, because they're with them all day. So that our little break we get right now is the time where I can just go and relieve her.
How old is she?
She's about to be 3 weeks on Sunday.
3 weeks, oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was that like? I mean, just like right as you're going into camp, and just having that after the mix.
Like I said, it was a blessing and motivation, all in one. Just another thing to like drive me and put some fire behind me just to keep going, and it's been good so far.
Coach Shelby's been talking about the competition, some of the younger guys. I mean, how much are they pushing you guys right now?
They're really good, and that's even more motivation to just make sure I'm on top of everything, mentally and physically. We have some good athletes in my position room, and it's really good competition.
Coach Shelby wants to see more takeaways in practice. You had an interception earlier this week, but your thoughts on how you guys are doing in that area?
I think as a position room, we're right there when the ball at the point of attack, but we just got to make the plays more. But defensively as a whole, I feel like we've been doing a really good job with our takeaways.
And I see the push-ups, obviously, that's started a while and so forth and everything. What's that like when you get a hand on the ball and you can't finish it? You have to do 10 push-ups?
I mean, that's just motivation to catch it next time, because you don't want to be in the middle of a practice period and doing 20 push-ups at a time or something like that. So.
Any thoughts just about the expectations, though? Because, you know, Coach Allen thinks this is kind of the deepest, most talented position group. I mean, how much do you guys kind of welcome that going into the season, those kind of expectations?
At the beginning of camp, I told the defense that we should have the mentality that we could be the best defense in the nation. A couple years ago, last year, whatever it was, we had the goal to be the top 25 defense, and I feel like we're a much better defense than that. And so our goal and expectations, especially from the defensive leaders and the seniors on the defense, like the expectation is higher. We're better than we were last year, and we got to have that mentality and play with that confidence.
You're going up against receivers like Westbrook and Hill in practice. I mean, how much more will that prepare you for when the Big Ten play comes around?
I mean, I feel like our wide receivers are the top receivers in the country and the conference, whatever you want to call it. And so going against them is just preparation every day that's getting us better. And not only are they making us better, but we're making them better.
A lot bigger guys. I mean, how do you deal with that in press and, you know, the point of attack? Coach Shelby talk about that.
I mean, we just got to be more physical. We can't let them push us around and get space on us. So we got to just focus on our technique and details and be physical at the point of attack.
There's a Sean Riggins, a veteran, senior defensive back for the Hoosiers. Looking forward to that being a much improved part of the Indiana football program. Of course, the defense has been nothing but great under Tom Allen. It took a dip last year, but there was part of the reason, I think, with him relinquishing the duties of being the DC in addition to the head coach, it was just too much. And so hopefully there's going to be some improvement there, because we all know defense wins championships, but we'll certainly look forward to that. Now, on the other side of that, on the other side of the ball, obviously the quarterback battle for the Indiana Hoosiers between the incumbent Peyton Ramsey, you got Michael Penix, who is a redshirt freshman, and Jack Tuttle, also a redshirt transfer freshman from Utah. So that battle started out, and it's truly a battle, because we don't know who the starter is going to be. I mean, Peyton Ramsey, of course, is the incumbent starter, but that was expected to be challenged pretty heavily by both Michael Penix and Jack Tuttle. And as things have progressed, I think they have 8 practices in the books now. I believe Monday will be practice 9. It could be 10. I may be off one. But anyway, we've seen half of them, and I've been grading it on what's called a 10-point must system, the old boxing grading, where first place gets 10 points, second place gets 9 points. And, of course, with this, you got 3 guys, so we go down to 8. But through the first 3 practices, each quarterback ended up with a 10-point day. Each quarterback ended up with an 8-point day, which meant they were last. So they've all been in the middle as well. So after 3 practices, we were tied at 27. So it was kind of ironic. But the difference is Michael Penix started out last. He finished last on the very first day of grading. The next day he moved up, and then the next day he moved up again to the top spot, and then he tied for that top spot for the fourth practice with Peyton Ramsey, only because we really couldn't distinguish who had the better day between them on that day. That was kind of a 1A and 1B scenario. Tuttle was the third guy for sure, and I think that's where he's going to end up remaining unless something changes. He's last at camp. He's still learning the offense, so it's not that his talent is not there. It's just that he's the freshest in. He doesn't have the experience with his team. He doesn't have the experience with his offense. It's going to take a while to make that acclimation. And you can see that on the field. But you can also see he throws a very nice ball. He threw the nicest touchdown, possibly of the spring the other day, a deep throw to the back corner of the end zone where only the receiver could catch the ball, and did. I think it was Nick Westbrook, and got his foot down for a touchdown. It was beautiful play. On the very next play, he throws a pick six. A little flare to the left side, and that ball was picked off. I forget who picked that off, but that would have been 6 the other way for certain. So he's still picking things up, but Peyton Ramsey and Michael Penix, to me, are the guys that are going to battle for this right now. And I can say that I think Michael Penix is going to win it because he's a little more athletic. He has a much deeper throwing arm, but I don't know that yet. And so ultimately, I do think Michael Penix will win the job, but we'll have to see. I mean, there are practices that we haven't seen, so we don't know what goes on in those practices. We don't know what has gone on in those practices. We don't know who has been the guy who has looked better or what. We don't know who what the coaches are thinking right now, and they're not going to tell us just yet. We're going to ask them every day that we get to talk to them, but they're just going to continue to say that everybody's doing well and yada yada, because they're not ready to make a decision, and so when they are, they will. And to be quite frank with you, I know a lot of fans. One area that the Hoosiers don't have to worry about is running back, where they are stocked up. There's no doubt on who the starter's going to be, who the main guy is going to be, Stevie Scott. Man, what a breakout season he had last year. As unexpected completely, too, because he was, at best, the third man on the totem pole last year, but behind an injury to Cole Guest and a suspension to Morgan Ellison was suspended from the school actually last year. So, and that elevated Stevie Scott quickly, and man, did he respond, and he set records, rushing records, 1,137 rushing yards last year, 10 touchdowns. What a season he had. All those are all true freshman records for Indiana. But I was watching him in practice the other day, and he's like a Mercedes. And if you've ever shut the door, a car door on a very nice car, as opposed to, say, one that's not a high end. I don't want to name a car because someone could be driving around in that right now. But you know what I'm talking about. There's a gigantic difference. The sound, the feel, how heavy that door is, and when it closes, it's just that solid sound. When they drive, they're very quiet, very smooth. That's Stevie Scott. He doesn't look like he's running that hard, but he makes guys miss. He doesn't look like he's running that hard, but he separates from people. He's quick. He's got great vision, and he's just so smooth. And man, he's shed some weight. He's picked up some speed. He's picked up a ton of confidence. Indiana could have a very, very special guy in Stevie Scott, man. There's no telling what he could get done, and especially under the hands of Kalen DeBoer. That's I think a great marriage right there. But Indiana, and then you go. Cole Guest is back. Cole Guest was out last year with a knee injury. I think he looks faster now after the injury than he did before. because he's looking pretty damn quick on that football field, and he's going to play a huge role. Kalen DeBoer is going to use the running backs out of the backfield more, get them passing, and then there, besides Cole Guest, you got Ronnie Walker, you got Samson James, you got Irie Winters. These guys are all good now. They could all play right now. That's depth. Man, Indiana has depth at running back. These guys are all good, and looking forward to seeing that offense click. It's just, again, it goes all back to quarterback. Who's the quarterback going to be? Because they got some great receivers as well. So this could be a very prolific offense once they get things lined out on who's starting. And I'm looking forward to that, especially the third game of the season, the Ohio State Buckeyes. You know, most people write Indiana off because they always lose to Ohio State, but that was teams that did not have depth. They did not have guys like Kalen DeBoer at the offensive coordinator position. And I think that it's not crazy to think it's possible for Indiana to beat an Ohio State. They're not invincible. They're not unbeatable. They got beat by Purdue. I mean, and Indiana played Purdue to the end both out of the last 2 years. They beat them 5 straight before that. But they played these teams tough, and they would fade away in the fourth quarter, mainly due to attrition of depth. They don't have the depth to keep up with these guys. They wear down. Well, that's changing. That's changing fast. Tom Allen has done, and his staff have done an unbelievable job in changing that. And I think that they may be there now. We'll find out. Because it's got to be beyond running back. It's quarterback, obviously. On the defensive line and the offensive line, that's where it's critical. You've got to have depth there, and you've got to be able to battle there on both sides of the ball for 4 quarters. We'll see if they're there or not on those lines. The offensive line looks good at the top. We'll see how deep they are. Hopefully they can hold things down and make some holes for this offense and block for the quarterback to throw the ball. Because if they get to time, I think it's going to be a spectacular year for that offense. Now, what's the defense going to be like? Well, we'll see. We've heard from a lot of the guys. We heard from Sean Riggins today. The secondary is looking extremely good. They're thought to be one of the best secondaries in the conference. So that's going to be a big help. And I mentioned earlier that you've got a team like Michigan that has changed their offense. They've completely changed their offense. They're going to a spread offense. You're going to see no huddle offense. You're going to see an offense similar to what you see with Indiana. But Michigan is a team that obviously that does have depth, that obviously does have talent. They're picked to win the Big Ten. That means they're the top team in the Big Ten. They're the top team in Indiana's Big East division, along with Ohio State and Penn State and Michigan State. We'll see how Indiana can fare with these guys, but we've seen them play with them for the last couple of years, and again, depth has let them go away, but we'll certainly find out. Got a lot more coming up on the program today. We're going to be talking basketball in the next hour. Anthony Leal, we'll get a conversation with him, the new Indiana commitment. Also, Jordan Hall's on the program. Stay tuned. We're back with more Indiana Sports Beat from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make it tea time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former Indiana basketball player Greg Green. Keep up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat, of course, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Jim Coyle with you, as always. Jake's at the wheel, keeping things on the track. Very special Sports Beat today as we have new Indiana commitment Anthony Leal on the show. You'll hear from him. Also, former Hoosier Jordan Halls. Also, you'll hear from Jordan as well before he heads over to Italy to resume his professional career. A lot of things to get to quickly because we're going to get right into Anthony Leal. Over the weekend, IU Volleyball opened up their practice season on Saturday. IU Women's Soccer opened up with a 3-0 exhibition win over Indiana State at Armstrong Stadium. Mel Forbes, Chandra Davidson, and Ali Schlam all scored in that match. So congratulations to those guys. But also Andrew Gutman, a former Hoosier soccer player, now with FC Cincinnati. Let's hear what Andrew had to say.
A lot. I mean, first game was a derby, a lot of energy, but my teammates helped me through it, and, we got a tough point on the road.
A lot of positive plays by you out there for the first and second half. How do you continue to build off that?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to confidence. My teammates kind of give me the green light to do what I do, and, the coach was really adamant about pushing forward with me, so I just kind of did what I always did, play with confidence and create some good chances today.
That's Andrew Gutman, a former Hoosier soccer player on the field last year, now playing with FC Cincinnati on a professional tour. In swimming, American Olympic hopeful Annie Laser, an Indiana University student who may also be an Olympic swimmer for the USA, quickly turned things around for the Americans, fending off her teammate Bethany Galat to seize a huge gold medal win with a 2:21.40 in the breaststroke, I believe that was, 200. Oh, that was just behind Lily King's season's best time from the FINA Championships earlier this year. In the NFL, former Hoosier quarterback Nate Sudfeld now back up for the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, he went down with a broken wrist. I think that was last Friday. We talked about that. But Nate talked with the press after surgery.
Pretty much knew pretty quickly. But yeah, fortunate that I was able to get surgery, early the next morning, and feel good that it's back in place, and I'm on the road to recovery. So
some of the estimates that are out there are, suggests it's not going to be long term. What is it about the break, I guess, that was fortunate, in that respect?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not really sure. But I'm really excited that it's not a long-term injury. Very, very fortunate. It's not, thank God, it's not my right hand, because you never know what complications would come with.
Nate Sudfeld talking with the media after he had surgery on that broken wrist. I know I'm talking fast. That's because we got a lot to get to. Anthony Leal, you're going to hear what he had to say after he committed to Indiana. We're back with more Indiana Sports Beat from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat from Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, and of course, probably one of the most popular guests we've had in quite some time, Anthony Leal, Bloomington South product, committed to the Indiana Hoosiers on Friday. Anthony, first of all, congratulations. I'm sure that's a great relief and a lot of excitement for you and your family.
Yeah, it's a surreal opportunity, and thanks again for having me.
Oh, anytime. You still there?
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry, I thought I lost you. But, yeah, congratulations. Man, how exciting was this once you were able to make this announcement?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally a dream come true. It's something that I've been imagining and hoping for and working for since I was as little as I can remember. So for it to really become a reality is something that's really special for me and my family.
And you've worked long and hard for this. We all know that. But and being a hometown kid, it's kind of unusual because most people you play with aren't going to be from the hometown. We I talked to Jordan Hulls, but he talked that there's a lot of unique aspects to being the hometown guy. So expect your teammates to come over for Christmas dinner and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean it's something that ultimately it's bigger than just being about myself. It's something about the entire community and not just me or my teammates, but it's just the opportunity to be able to impact so many people and a bunch of young people that are just like me growing up trying to make their dreams come true. It's just overall, it's just a really great opportunity for me.
And having talked to you previously, I know that what the things you just mentioned is very important to you. You're more about putting the limelight on other people, and you're to be commended for that. But when you talk about representing the community, how important is it to you? Because in essence, you are representing the city of Bloomington, and then I know that's kind of a heavy weight, but it's also kind of a cool opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's really no weight at all, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm just trying to do what I feel like God has me on this earth to do, and at the end of the day, that makes everything a lot easier. But to be able to play for IU, and the fact that Coach Miller trusts me to represent not only myself but the university and the basketball program and the city of Bloomington as a whole on the national level is really an amazing experience and a great opportunity that's going to help me grow as a person and as a student and an athlete.
At the end of the day, what was it that swayed you toward Indiana?
Well, I mean, to be completely honest with you, I was at church a week or two ago, and I was just praying really hard, and eventually, it just kind of, I got this feeling in my stomach, and it was something that wouldn't really go away, so I gave it a few days to really make sure that this is what I wanted to do, make sure that this is the right fit and the right opportunity for me. And at the end of the day, it was nothing less than that. And it's something that's really going to, help my future and help, hopefully the future of a bunch of kids around me and stuff like that, just to be able to follow and try to do what I've done and making my dreams come true. But hopefully, they can be even more successful than I am.
Hoosier fans have made no bones about they love the fact of having Indiana kids on the Indiana University's basketball team. And you're part of a new wave. A lot of guys that are coming in, Trey Jackson, Joey Bronk, Trey Galloway, your AAU teammate. How important or how fun are you looking forward to that aspect of being such a unique group of so many Indiana kids on that program?
Yeah, I mean, that's how it was growing up. It's part of what I fell in love with, was just knowing that everybody that was on the team was going to take so much pride and passion in being able to wear that jersey. And I think that what Coach Miller's building with a bunch of local guys that are willing to do whatever it takes, and just sacrifice their body no matter what, and just, bring back some of that pride and passion that I fell in love with as a kid is something that's really special. And I think we've got a great kind of building block of a group of kids that are just willing to sacrifice whatever it is about them and their egos and all that kind of stuff, including myself, and just be a part of something bigger and hopefully have some success wearing that name across our chest.
I talked to Jordan Hulls. He's been on the show several times, but specifically about this. Is he someone that you, I don't want to say idolized, but definitely followed closely when he was playing in Indiana? Obviously, you were younger, but a Bloomington South product as well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember looking up to him and the passion and how hard he played with and his skill level ever since he was at South. And I remember just kind of wanting to do what he's done. And so far I've had some decent success, I guess, as far as, going to South in Bloomington and playing basketball. And now with the opportunity to play at IU like he did, I think that it's really something special and a really great thing to be able to continue that tradition of a Bloomington kid being able to represent Indiana on the basketball court.
Well, being a great shooter, something that he's known for, and that's something that also has been following you around. That fills a huge void for Indiana. Indiana has not been the greatest of shooting teams here of late. Someone like you has definitely been needed. Are you looking forward to being able to step into that role and help them with that aspect of the game?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, and that's part of what makes it such a great fit for me, is just the ability to come in and provide a spark in shooting and scoring and defense and just playing as hard as I can. And at the end of the day, if I'm able to space the floor a little bit and be able to make the defense have to close out faster or give a little bit less help. It's going to make the teammates and the guys that are out there on the court with me a little bit better and help them get easier shots. So at the end of the day, it's gonna come full circle and hopefully, result in some wins.
So when you finally came to the decision that you knew where you were going to go, who was the first person that you told?
The first person I told was actually both of my parents. So I guess the first two people I told, but I told both my parents first, and then my sister. So it was something that began in the family, and then I told like my AAU coach, my high school coach, but I made sure to really make sure my family was on the same page as me, and they were the first people to know, because while I'm the one that gets all this publicity and all the kind of public stuff that everybody talks about, at the end of the day, they're the reasons that I'm able to do this kind of stuff. So being able to share the moment with them was something that I was looking forward to, and when the moment came, it was really special for us all.
And I know they would have been happy for you no matter what, and most people should have been happy for you no matter what. But the fact that you're going to Indiana, did that cause a little more excitement for them? I mean, they're going to get to see you play all the time.
Yeah, I mean, they grew up, obviously, well, they didn't grow up, but they went to IU. They were fans ever since then. They've worked for the university, all that kind of stuff, and we grew up in this town, going to games and being frequent supporters of the Hoosiers. So at the end of the day, I'm sure it was a little more exciting for them to be able to know that their son was staying home and playing for the same school that they went to. But they definitely didn't, I guess, let me see that as much, because at the end of the day, it's about me. So they're really great about kind of staying reserved, I guess, to the point where I still feel like it's my kind of moment, but they're just always here supporting me no matter what.
What was Archie Miller's reaction when you let him know that you're going to be playing for the Hoosiers?
Yeah, him and Coach Ostrom were really happy, really glad to be able to take this next step. And I mean, it's a baby step as far as what we're hoping to accomplish together in the next 4 or 5 years at IU. But I mean, they were really happy and really glad that I was trustworthy in them, and that they were trustworthy in me, I guess, just to be able to come in and make an impact and be able to play for my dream school. It was great for me, and I know that they really expressed their excitement and their eagerness to get started as soon as we can.
And we talked before, obviously you played with Trey Galloway, a co-commitment going to the Hoosier, but you've also played with and against Trace Jackson Davis, Armand Franklin, those guys. Does that help make it a lot more seamless of a transition going to a school that with so many guys that you've played with or against?
Yeah, I mean, it will, and it's guys that I've had a prior relationship with, which is going to help. But what I think is really important is just that we all kind of grew up with the same impression of Indiana basketball, and we all kind of hope to bring it back to what it was whenever we were growing up. So I think that combination and a talented group of guys and guys that just really want to be Hoosiers and love Indiana, I think it's a recipe for something special that can hopefully be accomplished. If not in my 4 years, maybe in the next 4 years after that. If we're doing our job and building the building blocks of that, then we're going to be happy with the job that we accomplished in our time at IU.
And you mentioned watching the Hoosier teams of past that were filled with so many great players from the state of Indiana, and they obviously had a ton of success in postseason and things like that. That's got to be something that's a great goal of yours to help Indiana get back to that, as you've mentioned. But the reality of that, how much do you think you can contribute? How are you going to be able to contribute to help them get that program back to where it was in the heyday?
Yeah, that's the goal, and I really do think that within my 4 years, if not my 4 years, and hopefully shortly after, but I really think that we're going to be able to accomplish that kind of goal and, get to play for a Big Ten title and get to play for a Sweet 16 or something like that, just to be able to kind of revive that passion and that love for basketball that Indiana fans all over the place have fell in love with in the past. I think it's something that's going to be a daunting task for sure, but it's something that we're all really eager and excited for. So at the end of the day, I think that we're going to be able to hopefully at least take some pretty big steps in that direction.
And of course, your final season of Indiana of high school basketball coming up. That's going to be like a farewell tour for you. I mean, you're going to be loved in virtually every gym you go into, even by some of the opposition.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely going to be a cool little thing, but in reality, none of it really matters. Like I'm not doing it for any of that kind of stuff. As long as our team's getting wins and doing what we're supposed to do and getting better every day, and hopefully at the end of the season being able to compete for a state championship, that's what matters. Not whether I scored 20 points or 6 points. It's just about having some team success and having fun, especially with a great group of seniors that I've grown with throughout the years of high school and before then. Just to be able to hopefully accomplish something like that is going to be really special, and it's our goal at the end of the day.
And the multiple conversations I've had with you, it's very obvious and apparent. You're very humble. You're very down to earth, and you're not about the me thing. You're about everybody else. How have you remained, being as successful as you have been? How have you been able to stay that grounded?
I mean, that's the easiest answer, easiest question you've asked me. But the way that I'm able to do that is just with God and just having His blessings and being able to pray with Him and just having His kind of guidance and His impact on my life, and just having my faith there has always helped me have the right priorities in life, and it's hopefully gonna impact and inspire other people to just always stay humbled and be about the group and always be looking to help out in something bigger than themselves, and that's ultimately the reason that I'm like that is just my faith.
And because of your mature mindset, it seems like pressure is almost something that may not exist for you. But is there any added pressure being a hometown kid going to Indiana?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be pressure, and there might be some pretty high expectations for me, especially being a local kid. But at the end of the day, as long as I'm doing what I feel like I'm meant to be doing on this earth and being able to go out there and just play as hard as I can, then there's really nothing else I can ask for, nothing else I can expect, because as long as I'm giving it my all and doing what I can, that's hopefully going to be enough for those that truly care.
When it came down to it, how close was Stanford actually to being a place where you ended up? I mean, they're obviously a great place of academics, and they have success in athletics as well, but it's a faraway school. But how close were they to being in the picture?
I mean, they were really close. It was back and forth for a while there. I mean, I would go one day where I had this mindset where I was going to be a Hoosier. I had this mindset where I was going to be Cardinal and go out to Stanford. So I mean, it was really close, and their coaching staff did a great job recruiting me, and I am thankful for that opportunity. But at the end of the day, what really made the difference and what really kind of opened my eyes to priorities and perspective on what my situation is was just that prayer and just having that connection and eventually feeling what I was doing is what I'm meant to be doing.
How happy are you to be done with this part of this process?
I mean, it's a surreal feeling, and it's super. I guess it's like a weight lifted off my shoulder, but at the same time, it's a new weight put on. Like this is really just the beginning of it, and then the next 5 years, because I got a year till I'm actually there, but then 4 years while I'm there, it's just the work's really only starting now, and I'm looking forward to getting better and doing what we can to win in high school and then at IU.
Are you going to be able to attend Hoosier Hysteria coming up in October?
Yeah, I mean that would be the plan. My sister's games will take priority, so whenever I can get to her games, that's what I'll be doing. But if I'm free and schedules match up, I'll try to get to Hoosier Hysteria and as many games as I can throughout the season.
Have you thought about what it's going to be like that first time you have that Indiana jersey on and you walk out onto the Assembly Hall court with a full stadium of people?
I've tried to imagine it a couple of times, but I fail in my attempts at that, because I know that at the end of the day, when I walk out there's going to be nothing like that feeling. So I try to imagine it sometimes, but I'm just trying to. I mean, I'm going to wait for the time to come, and when it comes, it's going to be a life-changing moment and something that is going to stick with me forever.
Well, I can tell by the reaction on social media, you have made a lot of people happy, man. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to your family. I know it was a group effort. Everything's been a group effort with you, and congratulations. And I wish you the absolute best of luck in the upcoming basketball season. We'll be keeping track with you. We'll have you on again and see how the season's going. But congratulations, Anthony. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and thank you for having me.
You betcha, man. Congratulations to you and your family. You have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Anthony Leal with us here on Indiana Sports Beat. We'll be back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former Indiana basketball player Greg Green. Keep up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle, of course, coming to you from the golf club at Eagle Point Studios. Hope your day is going good, but if not, we're about to make it better. One of our favorites, Jordan Hulls, former Hoosier basketball player, on with us again. Jordan, how are you, man?
Not too bad. Just finished up a workout at Cook with one of my good buddies, and just getting ready to head off to Germany. So get my last couple workouts in that I can, and ready to take off and get my season started.
And we greatly appreciate you taking the time to join us today, as you always are so gracious with your time. But it's amazing to me because it wasn't that long ago you were on, because you just got back. Now you got to leave again.
I know, time flies, especially when we're home in the summertime, and especially when you got two kids. Now it seems like you can't stop time. So it's been a great summer for us, though. And as always, I appreciate you having me on. And a lot's changed since then as far as kids growing up quick, and just been all over the place and trying to do as much as we can in a short amount of time that we have in the summertime. It's been a great summer, and looking forward to going back over and then getting back home again.
Yeah, it's like a merry-go-round for you, and it's got to be so difficult. Not difficult, but much more challenging. A lot of the guys that are playing over there aren't married or have families, but you're married with kids, and you've got a lot of responsibilities besides playing basketball overseas. That's got to be a challenging schedule to maintain.
It definitely is, but it's a lot of fun for us too. The experience that we're getting out of it, especially for my kids growing up in a different country, learning different cultures, and having a wife who's willing to sacrifice her time. She's a nurse, and she's sacrificing not being a nurse at the moment to be over there with me and the kids, and it's pretty remarkable what she's doing for us as a family. But for us to be together over there and going through those life experiences each year for us, it's been pretty special, and we don't take it for granted. And we're going to do as much as we can. And if I keep playing for a little bit longer and making those memories and stuff like that, it's going to be for the better in the long run. So we're excited to do it, and it does take a toll. It's hard traveling with two kids, going a long 8-hour or 13-hour flight, whatever it may be. It does get a little stressful, and it's a workout for sure, but it's part of it, and we're enjoying every moment.
And I know it's got to keep you on your toes because you have a pretty long season over in Germany. And then when you do come back, you've got family obligations and a time when you'd probably like to be able to relax. But that's probably one of the last things you get to do because with time being so precious, your camps you come back to and your family. And it's just so much. How do you manage getting all that stuff packed in to the short time you get to be home?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but, I try and plan everything out before I get home, so it's not all, jumbled up when I do get home and I'm scrapping around trying to find time for this or that. But, and I'm also thankful for where, I live in Bloomington in the off season, so it's where most of my family is, and we're able to do that, and we're sacrificing time. But we love what we do. We love doing the camps. We love getting to travel around and helping my dad out with his tournaments or whatever we may be doing. We do everything almost as a family. So even though we are busy traveling all over the place, we're usually always together. So that helps a lot. And, a lot of planning, and especially for the camp, it's a family oriented type of thing. And once we get that figured out, then I can pretty much schedule everything else out that we want to do. But now with two kids, it makes it a little bit more difficult as far as, making sure that I'm home to help my wife and not just dumping the kids on her all the time. But, we make it work. And, like I said, we have a lot of fun during the summer and wake up early, go to bed late, and try and cherish every single minute that we have here.
We just saw the TBT championship finals come to a conclusion the other night, and I saw Christian Watford send out a tweet, hey, let's get an IU team together. And you guys had a team a few years ago, but this is one of the things that makes that difficult because you've got so little time when you come back that taking 2 weeks out or however long it is for a tournament, that's got to be just too much overload for some guys like yourself, I would think.
Yeah, it does get a little tricky and tight at the end, especially because we do take one family vacation where, we go to Florida or something for a week and just completely relax right before I take off. And usually TBT is during that time. So whether I'm flying back and forth, that's what I've done in the past, actually. I flew from LA to New York. I was helping with the tournament, one of my dad's tournaments in LA. And I went from LA to New York back to LA. All within 2 days. So it is a lot of work if I do that, but it's really fun playing in the TBT, especially if we have former teammates or guys who played at IU. If we played that together, I would love to get a IU group together. It's been a little bit more difficult to get it done. We have some guys in the NBA, and timing wise, it's hard to get a lot of people on board, but it was cool when Will and Christian and we all played on the same team, and we haven't been able to do that in the last 2 years, but I would love to see that happen if we could get enough guys and not just a lot of guards playing. If we had some bigs, or if we, vice versa, you got to try and fill all the gaps. But it would be a lot of fun, and I'm sure Hoosier fans would really appreciate it, especially if they got it to come close to home, whether that's in Indiana or, somewhere in the Midwest to make it easier for travel.
Yeah, we saw a couple former Hoosiers in the TBT. Mo Creek and Remy Abel did pretty well.
Mhm.
They made it to a regional final before they were defeated there, but there were a couple Indiana guys in that. But yeah, it would be so cool because we see a lot of these teams. Well, the one that won it, or both of them that were in the finals, Marquette and OSU alums on both those teams. So people sure seem to take a lot of ownership, and Indiana just seems like a natural fit to not only have a team, but for that to be played here in Indiana. My gosh, you talk about selling some seats, that would not be a problem.
Yeah, I've told them every year, I was like, I don't understand why they wouldn't want to do it from a marketing standpoint, from ticket sales to, whatever. I think it'd be a huge, huge plus for everybody involved in that. So if we could get that done, that'd be awesome. And, I think we'll try and look into that if it all works out. It'd be really cool.
And now, fortunately, over in Germany, you're going to have a familiar face in the upcoming season as an old teammate, Will Sheehy, is going to join you there on your German team.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Me and Will, we played 3 years together, and we were roommates one of those years, and we became good buddies, obviously, especially, we went through a lot at IU together. My first 2 years, his first year, when we weren't so great, you kind of form a bond, and I think that's why all of us were so close, is that we went through a lot of adversity together, and then we were able to taste some success the last 2 years of my career anyway. So I'm really excited about Will. He's a guy, he brings a lot of grit, some toughness, can do a little bit of everything, athletic, obviously, and, I approached my team saying, like, if we need a guy to fill this position, this is a guy you need to get. Like, every year I've played overseas, if a spot ever opens up that's Will's position, I always like, you need to get this guy. So I'm happy that the team, looked over film, obviously, and liked his game, and it fit well with what we want to do, and running and playing with smart guys and all those kind of things. So I'm ecstatic about him coming over. To have a little piece of home over there with us is always going to be great. And his wife, Nicole, and my wife met this summer, and, we're really excited to, have another couple off the court for those kind of things, because it's not just about basketball over there for us with families and stuff. So it's been really special to get that relationship started, and as far as everyone meeting and going over there and having a good time. So I think he's going to make an impact on the court for us as a team, but also off the court for us as a family. It'll be really fun.
And it's like your all's games, they seem to complement each other. You're both great shooters, but different types of shooters.
Right, exactly. So, Will, he's going to use his athleticism to get off, mid-range jumpers, coming off curls. But he reads the game really well, and I'd like to think of myself as someone who has to be somewhat cerebral to play the game with my height, my stats, all those kind of things. And I think, like you said, we play well off of each other. We connected a lot on, just little eye contact type of things, whether it was a backdoor play, backdoor alley-oop, just little nuances of the game that I think playing together obviously is going to help us going forward. And we're really excited about getting some backdoor dunks and those kind of things going again. So we've talked about that and worked on it. We worked out together, all that good stuff, and talked about the little things. I'm trying to get him acclimated with type of shots he'll be getting in games and those kind of things. So it was cool to be able to drill that in the summertime, because that doesn't happen too often, where you get to go and work out with a teammate that you have overseas. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool.
And you had a tremendous season last year. How are you going to top? You had a bunch of accolades, NBA. I mean, that was pretty damn successful season you had. How are you going to top that? Expectations on Jordan Hall's got to go up.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I've gotten better every single year. I've been doing all the same things my whole career. It's just now people are noticing it, I guess. As long as I've always shot efficiently, I've shot great percentages. I've done whatever I need to do to help the team and whatever my role on the team is. So I think this year, going back to the same team, knowing how things are run and all those, I'll play with, the same amount of confidence and be very comfortable with what my role is and how I play the game, and I'll play freely. And I was talking to somebody the other day about how my perspective since having kids has really changed, and it's really helped my game from the standpoint of confidence and playing freely. And I'm not just going in the gym for 3 hours and shooting shots. If my shot feels good, I'm good. I get to go home and see my family. And I think that's been a huge thing for me to step back and realize, like, off the court things play a huge role for me as far as how I perform on the court as well. Staying healthy obviously is huge. And hopefully we make a good run in the playoffs or to get to the playoffs in our league. And that's our goal as a team, is to be a playoff contender and make some noise in there. And that helps everybody. When you win at that level, it helps everybody for the future.
Now, you're in what city are you in Germany?
I'm in Würzburg, Germany, which is southern part, about 2 hours north-ish of Munich, 1 hour south of Frankfurt. It's the home of Dirk Nowitzki, so that's kind of their claim to fame. Yeah, it's a great city, not too big, not too small. My oldest son, Jackson, goes to school there, their little kindergarten, and then my son, Leo, was born there, obviously, so it's pretty special for us to it'll have a special place. It has a special place in our hearts in that little city because it's pretty cool for us.
What's some of your favorite things about Germany? Favorite things to do, favorite foods? I've never been a fan of German food itself, but the other stuff's okay.
German food, yeah, it's funny. Like, when I come back, I realize, like, how much German influence is in Indiana and in the Midwest, especially Cincinnati. But there's lots of things over there that we like, your German pretzels, your sauerkraut, your brats, potato salad, all that German food is great. But we really like how they take great care of your family. You're going to be getting your money on time. So for me as a player, that's huge. I've been in situations where that's not always been the case, and there's tons of horror stories out there when you talk to guys who played overseas from not getting their money and those kind of things. So with Germany, you never have to worry about that. Healthcare for the kids is great. You feel safe. You never are worried about, your family going out on their own or anything like that, as opposed to some maybe other countries that you go to. But, it's really cool for us to dive into that culture. Now, I just finished my third season in Germany, and this will be my fourth. And, we feel comfortable with the language, and we're trying to learn more and more as parents so we can help Jackson, because Jackson's learning it and he understands it. He's not speaking it yet, but those are things that we are trying to learn, and it's helping us grow, with things off the court as well. So it's pretty special for us.
I don't think Michael Lewis played overseas. I know he played some places here, but, man, he would have been a perfect person to play in Germany. He's from Jasper, Indiana. If you've ever been there,
exactly.
That's like being in Germany, man.
Yeah, no question. I told Cody Zeller the same thing. It's like, you go down to my wife's from Evansville, so as you're driving towards there, you see, like, Hofstadt, like, that's a German, like, the guy who, was one of the first guys. I mean, that's a German name. That's German, as German as it gets. So it's pretty cool to come back and see those little things. Kindergarten, that's a German word,
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah, most people don't even understand, like, kindergarten. That's kids, whatever. But it's pretty interesting.
Now, where did your wife go to high school in Evansville? We're on at WREF in Evansville.
She went to Evansville Harrison, so home of Calbert Chaney.
I was going to say, home of the big man, Calbert.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, she saw me play in high school because we went down there, and I'm pretty sure we beat them by 30. She's in the car with me right now. But I let her know that quite frequently.
That's hilarious. Now, do you drive a car over in Germany?
Yep. So the team, that's also a great thing. Well, most places I've been is they take good care of they set you up in an apartment, they give you a car to drive, your insurance is covered, everything's covered. Our only expenses really are, for food and gas and anything else that we may need. But all those kind of things are great. You get to drive on the Autobahn, so no speed limit, but they're very strict on, like, everybody over there is a much better driver than the people here in the States. The cars have to meet certain requirements. Like, you can't drive some junky old car that might break down on the highway. Because if you do that on the Autobahn, there's less crashes, but more fatalities over there because of the speed, But it's really cool to drive on that. That's my wife maybe not so much doesn't care for it too much, but the one thing when I come back and realize one is the stoplights are on the same side over there in Europe. So when I get home, I find myself like inching towards the intersection because I'm coming up to the light. But the other, that is a huge problem. But yeah, there's no ride on red, those kind of things that I always get honked at here when I come back to, is because I'm never turning right on red. But it's very well done over there. A lot better drivers for sure.
They'll have to get some roundabouts like they're putting everywhere in Indiana right now.
Oh yeah, they love the roundabouts too. And when I come back, I can't stand when people are in the left lane and they're going like the left lane, like you're supposed to be in the left lane if you're going fast. If not, then get in the right. So in Germany, if you're in the left lane, that's where the guys are going 150 miles an hour. You better get on over. You're getting like flashed. And so that's a huge pet peeve of mine when I come back home, because it's just so people are passing on the right, and then that's how wrecks happen, and it just really irks me. But I digress.
Big news coming up next, of course, for Indiana basketball, Jordan, is the commitment of Anthony Leal, of course, a Bloomington South product like yourself. What's it like to see another Bloomington South kid go to Indiana?
It's really cool to see. There's only been me from South, so he'll be the second from South, and then you got Jared Jeffries from North. So, I mean, that's not very many people who have gone in and had good careers at IU. So it's pretty special to see another kid from his hometown wanting to come and represent Indiana University on and off the court. Not only the university, but also representing your hometown. That's something that was really special. I know for me, when I committed, and a lot of people were asking me if there was a lot of extra pressure added to it, being here, all your friends, family, whatever. I thought of it as like a huge opportunity for me to, one, play in front of my friends and family at every home game, which is something that a lot of kids don't get to do. And, I embraced that. I wouldn't call it was a good kind of pressure. It made me very proud to be able to represent my hometown, and made me want to be a better player. And I always had that passion to drive to just, what can I get better at? What's next for me? What can I do this year to improve from the year before? And all those kind of things. So I know for me, it was really cool from that standpoint. Also, it's always nice to be able to come home and get a home cooked meal, or, have your laundry done in a timely fashion or whatever. So that was really cool. But people also thought that, if you commit to your hometown school, you really feel like you're getting the full experience, and you're going to, be away from home enough, or however you want to call it. But I always felt like when I was at IU, I was at IU. I never felt like I didn't get away from home enough. I wasn't able to grow up on my own or go through all the things that I need to learn on my own when I was here. So that was a huge thing that I know for my sister was one of the things that she always thought about if she did. Well, she eventually came back to IU, but she committed to Bowling Green, and that was one of the things that she thought maybe she wouldn't get a away from home experience kind of thing. But for me, it was awesome, and it's also cool to have a place that your teammates who aren't from here, which is most people, obviously, they get to have a home away from home when they want a home-cooked meal, or when they just need a place to maybe go spend Christmas or Thanksgiving. I don't know how the rules are now, but for me and for us, we didn't have a lot of time for those guys to go home and be with their families. So my family kind of jumped in and tried to be that for them. So that was also something off the court that a lot of people may not think about. And I don't know if Anthony's ever even thought about that, but that's something that goes a long way, makes an impact on others. And you build those lifelong friendships, and then your family's involved. And, it's really cool when you have a tight-knit group like that I had. And hopefully he has a similar experience. And, obviously at that level, it's a lot of different things that you have to work on, and you got to get better in every aspect. He's athletic. He can do a little bit of everything, but at the next level, you got to tweak. You got to get better here. You got to handle the ball a little bit tighter. You got to use your athleticism to your advantage in certain areas, and that just comes with getting older and learning more about the game and those kind of things. So, but I am really excited to see him, and obviously one of his AAU teammates, a kid that he's close with, who will also make an impact. That's pretty special to have that, which I was fortunate. I had Bobby Capabianco. We were AAU teammates as well. And I knew a lot of the other kids because there's a lot of Indiana kids on the team at that time. So I think that'll be cool for him too.
And you talk about the experience at college. I'm Todd Leary old, and I know Pat Graham. We went to St. Floyd Central High School, but back in their day, they were staying in these apartments that were they were okay, I guess. But now they got these guys in these high rises across from the stadium. That's like state of the art.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like the rules, even since I've been there, have changed, and it's pretty different college experience than most get to experience. But when you're a college athlete, like you're not the typical student. Like you don't like those regular students they have all the time in the world. When you're an athlete, like that's not how it is. Like you're gonna have fun. You're gonna be able to go to class and do whatever else. But you're also on a basketball team, and with social media and the way it is, like you have to make sure that you're doing all the right things, and you never know who's watching, and all those kind of things. So you're not living the typical college student life, which gets a lot of guys in trouble no matter where you're at. But it's something that guys just have to be aware of, especially at that next level. But also, social media compared to when I was in college is completely different too. So all those kind of things play a factor.
I know because of your limited schedule, being overseas most of the year, more than half the year, you don't get to see him play much. What do you know about his game? What do you think he can bring to this Indiana team that's kind of been devoid of shooting over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I have not seen him play a whole lot, maybe a couple of times, not this past summer, but the summer before. I watched him and his Indiana Elite team play out in L.A., obviously he's athletic. He can do a little bit of everything, shoot, get to the rim, uses, his natural ability to do those kind of things. But again, I have not seen him play live or, it's all what I've just heard. So I'm excited to finally get to see him and, the people I've talked to, he's a great kid. He does this, he does that. But like I said earlier, at the next level, there's going to be kids who do a lot of the same things. So you got to try and find your niche and where you can excel and where you can, be the best at that. So for him, he is athletic and he's going to have to get tighter handle and better shooting, like I was talking about. But I'm excited to see how he progresses. When I saw him, it was very small sample size, but that was also almost a year ago. And a lot changes in a year. I haven't been able to see him shoot in a whole year or anything like that. So it's hard for me to say and critique his game when I haven't seen him play that much. So I just know once he gets to the next level, what you have to continue to get better at. And obviously shooting is something that we need. And hopefully that's something that he can bring for us, and a different kind of grit and style of play that fits in really well.
Yeah, the pictures and the social media postings of you and Will Sheehy working out at Cook Hall had a lot of people salivating over the summer, dreaming that Indiana had that kind of shooting again.
Yeah, we had a special group. I think one of our years we were one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. I think.
Yes, you were,
especially with Watford and trail threes, and you have Matt Roth out there. Then I guess I hit a couple, and then
you hit a couple, all right.
And then we had everybody on the team could shoot, we had everybody who could shoot, pretty much. Even Elston, he's 6'9", but could shoot threes. He could step out, and Christian 6'8", 6'9", could shoot threes. The guards could shoot. Yeah, so we were pretty fortunate in that aspect, and get up and down and shoot the three ball, and just the game. That's just how the game's changing, though, right? It's crazy how much even when I like 3-ball, no mid range, get to the rim or three. Like I make a living off of shooting mid range shots too. I hit threes, of course, but people are eventually going to fly out at you. But I think the mid range is a lost art, and hopefully guys understand that and don't get deterred from the statistical numbers that say don't shoot the mid range shot. But I digress. I get on rants, but so I'm excited to see how this team shoots this year, and hopefully Anthony can bring a different clip, I guess is the word for that, different clip for us.
Now, we see a lot of guys come back and work out at Cook Hall, and they're in town, in and out. But being that you live here, did you work out there the whole time you've been home?
Yeah, so I got injured at the end of my season. I tore my left bottom ribs out of the cartilage, so I didn't do anything for 10 weeks. So that was kind of eating at me because I was planning on just going and doing stuff with the guys and, whether it was conditioning or basketball workouts or whatever. But when I did work out, it was either at my high school or at Cook whenever I could get in. But I try and get in there as much as possible, and especially these last 2 or 3 weeks when I'm getting, for sure, gotten more cardio in and more shots up and those kind of things. So that's been huge for me to be able, and I'm thankful for the staff for letting me use the facilities whenever I need to. And obviously Elston is one of my best friends, and Johnny Jager's there now, who I've known for a while too. And they've helped me out getting me through workouts or, helping me rebound or whatever the case is. So it's been cool.
Well, Jordan, I cannot thank you enough, man. We love having you on. You're one of the absolute favorites, and you're always so gracious with your time, and I cannot tell you how much we appreciate it because I know the fans love hearing from you, and they love hearing about what's going on with you.
No, I appreciate you having me on, and anytime you need me, anytime you need anything, let me know, and happy to help out. And Hoosier Nation's been good to me, so and I love every part of it, so anything I can do to help, and I love talking about it because I don't get to do it too often. I appreciate you having me.
Well, brother, we'll make sure that we keep the fans apprised on things that are going on over in Germany, and we'll follow you there and wish you the best of luck. Best of luck to your family. Have a safe trip over there, and have fun on the Autobahn, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Jordan Hulls joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for joining us. For Jake, I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.